order to open the app, you would have to click on Calendar displayed on the top menu. And since I don't have any calendars created yet, I've been welcomed by the user guided tour. Over here, you can get to know the new features, the latest features that were implemented in our application. In order to do that, you would have to click on What's New button. In addition, you'll be able to see over here the main features of our application, like calendar creation, the custom sources creation, how to share your calendar with others, how to plan the issues, and so on. And you probably noticed the documentation button located over here. By clicking it, you'll be navigated to the documentation for our application with the instructions on how to use the app. For now, I'm going to close it. So let's create our first calendar. In order to do that, you would have to click on a plus icon button located at the top right corner of the screen. So you would have to provide the name for the calendar. The description is optional. And you probably noticed that the owner has been preset, and it is based on the currently logged in user. Currently it is me, so my name is displayed as owner of this calendar. It can be changed later on, either by me, as I'm the owner of the calendar, or by Jira administrator. Also, each calendar has its permissions: calendar visibility, calendar editing, and events editing. For calendar visibility, I would leave the public permission over here. And please note, public permission means that all Jira users, your Jira users that have access to company calendar for Jira, would be able to see this calendar. But people outside your Jira, they would not be able to see this calendar, even though the permission is set to public. So for calendar editing permission, I would apply Jira administrators group. I can also add another group over here or specific user. Actually, I can add multiple groups and multiple users over here. For now, I would just leave single group over here. And for events editing, I would add two groups, Jira administrators and Jira software users. Click Save. So once I click Save button, I can see the Event Sources tab in Calendar Configuration. Over here, I'm able to select the event types in order to create the sources for this calendar. So let's do this. I would like to start with Jira Dates event type. And the first source based on Jira Dates that I'm going to create is going to be named Created, since I'll be using the field Created. I'm checking the default summary, which means each time I'm creating event based on this source, I don't have to type the summary. It will be taken automatically from the source name. Adjusting the color for my event a little bit. Selecting the project. Single date, created, as I mentioned. And clicking Save. So the first source for my calendar has been created. Let's create another one. This one is going to be based on Jira Dates as well. Although this time I would like to make it a bit more interesting. It's going to be based on the field due date. Now let's change the color a bit here. And this time I would like to set the conditional colors for the events based on this source. Let's say I would like the events that are based on Jira issues that are unassigned to appear in a bright green color. So clicking conditional colors, selecting field due date, assignee, and in case the issue is unassigned, which means the assignee is empty, for these events, I would like them to appear in a bright green color. So one conditional color has been created. Let's make another one. Let's say I want the events based on Jira issues that are due by the end of this week to appear in a bright red color. So due date less or equal, and this time we are using the relative date, end of week, and selecting the bright red color. So we have two conditional colors for the source based on a due date field. Clicking Save. So we have two sources based on Jira dates. Let's make another one, and this time I promise I'm going to make it even more interesting. This time I would like my source to be based on two ranges, date range and date time range. Remember, at the beginning of this presentation, I created two custom fields based on date pickers and two custom fields based on date time pickers. So let's use them now. I'm going to name the source Development and Meeting. Selecting my project. So I'm not using single date this time. I'm using the ranges. Development start will be the start date for the field for the source, and development end will be the end date. Another range in this source would be based on date time pickers. Meeting start and meeting end. Also, let's say I would like to see the priorities displayed on event blocks that are shown on my calendar. Excuse me. So in order to do that, I would have to navigate to Issue Fields and add Field Priority. Notice these two checkboxes over here. They've been pre-ticked, so the one has a little E next to it and another one has a little I next to it. So E stands for Event Block Display, and I stands for Information Dialog Display. I would like the priority to be displayed on both places. event block, and information dialog. So no changes here. So let's save our source. And let's be done with Jira dates-based sources. Let's create this source that uses a different event type. Jira sprints. And versions. And let's add another source that is based on a custom event type. You can see the business trips, meetings, sick days, vacations, and leaves. They're all custom event types. So I would like to use sick days. Default summary. Selecting my project. Clicking save. So we've created quite a few sources for the calendar. Let's close this dialog and see what happens. And voila, we have our calendar right in front of our eyes.